Ever since I was a kid, I have been terrified of the closet, its darkness shrouding whatever secrets it holds. But really more menacing is the fact someone has been talking to me through the door, the voice being a mere whisper, the sound slowly fluttering into my ear, almost as if there was nothing at all. The only time it was quiet enough for me to hear it was at night. I usually would be tucked into bed, falling deep into my slumber when the faint sound of mumbling would erupt around me, the moon shining through the seeps of my blinds as my eyes would spring to life looking around the room. Haunting shadows dancing around my peripheral, urging me to stay in bed. To say the less, I was a bit frightened. The first encounter was bewildering for my innocent brain. I didn't know what to think of it, other than I was hearing things. Though being a child of 7 years old, my imagination burst to life. After shifting around endlessly in bed, trying to fall back to sleep, the voice got a little louder, forcing me to finally give in to its will. I crept out of bed, looking for the source of noise, the dimly lit room revealing nothing other than darkened silhouettes staring at me as I aimlessly walked around. I fell to my knees and looked underneath the bed. Only a void could be seen, and for a moment I visualized an arm grabbing me, pulling me in. That's when I had finally detected it, my head turning from side to side, listening with such intent. I turned my body to the edges of my room. The voice was calling to me from the closet. Still on the floor, I cautiously crawled over, my knees brushing up against Legos scattered around, my breathing heavier than the earth itself. I sat in front of my closet for a few seconds, staring up at the door. A monolith it was at my age, the voice filtering through the wooden door as I contemplated of what to think. My first thoughts were of wonderment, remembering the story of children escaping to Narnia through their wardrobe. The idea of having such an adventure as my parents slept enticed me, and I pressed my ear up against the door, trying to figure out what the voice was saying. Muffled gibberish. I still couldn't figure out what they were saying. I was too small to fully comprehend such words, but in the moment I could have sworn whoever was talking was speaking another language. "Hello?" I whimpered through the door, looking behind, making sure my parents weren't awake. To my astonishment, the voice promptly stopped, silence encapsulating my small room. I think whoever was on the other side heard me. "Si me escuchas? Ayúdame, ayúdame," the person said, the tone sounding like a man, his words unknown to me. I stood to my feet and curiously placed my hand on the doorknob. The thought of entering a wonderland of magics swirled around my mind when the voice once again spoke, this time more with a frantic tonality. "Si, abre la puerta." Open the door. He was asking for me to open the door. He wanted to be let in. I began to turn the knob slowly, not sure what to expect other than the wonderful world of Narnia on the other side. The door clicked open with such a vibration. Once fully turning the knob, and I carelessly opened it. The door creaking open as pure darkness flooded into my already dark room. A void darker than anything I had seen before. The emptiness swirling around me left me feeling as if I was drifting away in space, fear grasping at my small mind, and I felt tears slipping down my face. "Where am I?" I childishly cried out. No response was given, no sounds could be heard. I was no longer in my room, but in a vacuum of desolation. My mind began to slip away as all things became blurry, and I felt my body grow numb. I could only imagine at that age that this is how it felt like to die. Eventually, all things ceased to exist, and I, fully blacked out, given into whatever this force was, I awoke the next morning on the floor. My body halfway in the closet, my father calling out to me, asking what I was doing. I sat up dazed to where I was, my brain taking several seconds to register I was back in my room. As the sun blared in through the blinds, I looked up at my dad. He displayed a befuddled gaze, perturbed that I wasn't in my bed. I didn't know what to tell him, other than I had a weird dream of someone talking to me through the closet door. My father laughed and told me it was just my imagination, that no one lives in the closet. I turned back to look inside the mystifying closet as his words simmered in my ears. Of course no one lives there. That would be impossible.